I figured, why not get some of these crazy ass stories that I have? Why not just tell some of them? So you're gonna get a little dating, and you're gonna get marriage stuff, and you're just gonna get. So stay tuned. Risa Tisa, I'm coming, girl. For real. The title of this story is called Musical Monstrosity. I might explain what I mean by that. But anyway, so I had met this amazing gentleman, right? And it was weird because I don't pursue nobody. I'm never the one to try to talk to nobody. It's like when they come bother me, they reached out first. I didn't say nothing, you know? So I had met the gentleman one evening at a concert. So I'm like, okay. So after the concert or whatever, I mean, we introduced ourselves or whatever, hugged, and then went on about our business. And we were kind of in the same vicinity or whatever leading up to getting to the concert. But when I met him, I'm like, oh, he's cute. So, I mean, I said it in my mind. I didn't say it out loud or nothing. But, you know, he was my type or whatever. So, I mean, it's a little chit-chatting here and there. Nothing too serious because it's the first time we ever met, and it wasn't even like that. So, we get to the concert, speed it up a little bit. The concert's over. We go back to where we had originally met up to go over to the concert together. So, I mean, it was like a good night type of thing. It was nothing. So, you go your way, I go mine. I went home or whatever, had a wonderful time. Whoop-de-whoop. So, I want to say about a week later, I get a DM on Instagram. So, I'm like, wait. So I got a follow first, and then I got a DM. So from the DM, I mean, we're getting to know each other more. We're talking and everything, and the conversation is beautiful. Getting to, like, you know, feeling each other out, picking your brain and stuff. So, I mean, the conversation is amazing. And, you know, I'm very much a person who loves conversation. And, I mean, yeah, you got me hook, line, and sinker. So I think we talked about a good two and a half months before we saw each other again. So we end up seeing each other again. And you know, where we've been kind of building this little bond or whatever over the FaceTimes and the texting and the calling and everything and the DMing, we kind of like, we're building a very good rapport. So when we see each other again, there's a little excitement there. You know, if you've catching my drift, it's a little excitement there. So we see each other again, and we're checking into the same hotel. So I got my situation, you got your situation, because, I mean, it ain't like that yet. So I get a DM, well, a text message after we check in and everything, and he's like, hey, what room you in? So, I mean, I sent my room number, and so he texts and asks for the room number. I kind of hesitated a little bit because I'm like, okay, you know, you got to have a pep talk. I had to Issa Rae real quick. Like, bitch, are you sure? Is you sure? Is you sure you want a girl? Because it's going to be trouble if he come up in here, girl. I'm like, bitch, yes, give it to him, girl. So I gave it to him. So I went. I had unpacked my stuff already. I went and jumped in the shower or whatever. So, you know, I got my little phone on or whatever, put my little music on, trying to, you know, get my mind right, because I don't know what's about to happen if he comes to this room. So I took my little about 15-minute shower or whatever like that, and I'm like, so, I mean, I don't want to be rude, so I know I just got out the shower, so I kind of like peeked my head around and I opened up the door. I was like, I gotta put my robe on, like, give me a second. Like, at this moment, homeboy wanted to push the door open, and I'm like, whoa, because, I mean, I got a big bag, so I'm strong, you know, so I pushed the door, like, you're not about to do that. So I went, got my little black robe, put my robe on, and then I opened up the door, and he came on in. So I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. So he hugs me or whatever, and I'm trying to keep it cute because my robe is short and I got a don't. So I'm trying to pull my robe down and stuff to keep it down. Because, you know, I mean, even though I'm in here in a robe and I'm naked, I just got up out the shower, ain't no clothes on up under here. I want to be respectful, you know. So I'm like, okay, so there's the bed. I did not sit on the bed. There were two little chairs in the corner by the window. So I went and sat in the chair. Because I'm like, you know what? Let me pull this robe down. And even though I'm in a robe, I don't want you to think it's going to be, you know. So I sat in the chair. I crossed my legs at the ankle. And I made sure that I pulled my robe down. Because, you know, we're going to sit here and chit chat or whatever. So There's my chair, there's a little round coffee table, and then there's another chair. He sat in the other chair. So we're sitting there, we're having small talk, and he was like, you're really beautiful and stuff. And I'm like, blushing and everything. So we just having small talk or whatever, and then he gets up and he kisses me. So I'm like, okay, you trying to get in some good trouble real fast because And the thing that attracted me about him the most, like, he has the most beautiful smile. His smile is gorgeous. And he's just so cute. So I'm in the chair and he put his hands on the little handles and got down in my face and just smiled at me. I'm like, oh, I'm like, girl, shut up. I got to tell her, like, girl, chill, girl. So he kisses me again. And next thing I know, I'm like, it went from my lips, it went to the neck and all the, So I'm like, hold up, what's about to happen? Next thing I know, a homeboy just gets undressed in front of me. He takes everything off. And I'm like, he's got the most perfect, buttery, smooth skin. His skin is beautiful. But I looked up, honey, he was ass naked standing in front of me. So, girl, he is standing in all his glory in front of me. He even had pretty feet. And I'm like, what? I'm sitting here like flabbergasted. But at the same time, my eyes is scanning every which way because I'm trying, okay, I can work with that. Okay. He may be a grower, not a shower, but we're going to see. Okay. But it's a little girthy. I mean, we looking and I'm like, oh, okay. I can work with that. So he goes in for another kiss, and this time it's a very passionate one. It's a passionate one. He was passionate. So I'm like, okay, at this point you done lit the furnace, but okay. It just felt right at the time. At the time. And plus I wanted something. So we go over to this nice, beautiful, big old king size bed, and he lays me down ever so gently, and he proceeds, he was hungry. We'll say that. He was hungry. I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. He was a eater. Okay, get back on task. I'm like, okay, come on up here. Come up here. So he came on up here. And then he was a grower. And that was nice too. And it happened. It happened. And even though, like I said, we talked for like a little over 2 months before we seen each other again and all this, and it just happened. It felt natural. It felt like it felt like it was supposed to happen. Nothing felt forced. I didn't feel no kind of way or nothing. It just happened. And being that it wasn't just like say it happened the same night as the concert, it would have felt like, oh, ain't no kind of connection. Like, I don't know you, I ain't talked to you, no nothing. So it kind of felt, like, oh, okay. And after it was all said and done, I'm like, oh, he cleaned me up and then laid beside me and held me and just looked me in my eyes and talked to me. Like, we had the best talks afterwards. And I'm like, he would confide in me about stuff, and I'm like, we're just laying here, like he's kissing on my face and my forehead, and we're just laying there just talking. And I'm like, yo, he was like, I don't even want to get up. I'm like, oh, you're so tough, like, what? That's what Bertha do to him. We literally just laid there, like, cuddled up and just in each other's face and just talking. And I'm like, yo, okay, this is new. This is different. This feels nice. It's like, I don't even want to get up. And truthfully, I didn't want to get up either. It was really a nice moment, and it was some deep things that we would talk about. We would always have the best talks, like, after. And I'm like, and that's when I, like, really, really started liking it. It wasn't even about the goosing. It was, like, the conversation and the connection. So now, after that initial, soiree, we go back to our homes or whatever. We still communicate almost every other day, texting, talking, FaceTimes, DMs, sending each other funny memes on Instagram and stuff, and sharing music playlists. Because listen, another thing that I liked about him so much is, like, we share a love for music. And send me something on my playlist, or send me a song that says what you feeling right now, and it says everything that I needed to say without you saying anything. Or if you create something and you send it to me, you want me to hear it or whatever, like, I love that. So we would do that a lot until we saw each other again. So the next time we saw each other, we had planned for me to come where he was, and we spent like a weekend together, and it was so dope. So I drove down to where he was, which wasn't far from where I was. So we spent the weekend together. We went to restaurants, we rode around, we did a lot. We laid around. We went to the studio together, we created together, we wrote a song together, and it was just so freaking dope. I'm like, and the fact that we were both silly as hell made it even better. Listen, because I like to laugh. If you can make me laugh, because I'm damn sure gonna make you laugh, listen, you got me. And it was always laughs. It was always craziness, silliness for no apparent reason, just out the blue. Like could be out somewhere and just like do something dumb and it's just funny as hell. I love people like that. And that was another thing that just had me hook, line, and sinker. So like we spent this amazing weekend together and everything, and I had a great opportunity come up, and he was actually present while I was on the phone with the casting directors and stuff. So I'm like, okay, you're sharing this moment with me, and it was so dope or whatever. And then I'm like, when I dropped him back off or whatever, I'm like, okay, you reaching over here to give me a kiss and all this, and I'm like, oh, like I feel like somebody's bae right now. That was a dope weekend. It really was. Like we did a lot. And it wouldn't be a lot to some people, but it was a lot to me. Because look, time is my thing. And the fact that you gave me, you're a busy person, just like I was a busy person at that time. And I'm like, you gave me an entire weekend and it meant a lot to me. So like I said, I started to fall a little deeper, a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And then we went our separate ways or whatever, still continued to talk and converse until we seen each other again. Would see each other on a nice little basis. Communication never stopped. I want to say like 4 months after the initial first experience, he ended up moving out of state. So he had talked to me about the move and everything, and I was in full support of it because I'm like, you doing what you do, you're going to flourish there where you're going to move to. I mean, I can't lie. I hated the fact that I can't just hop in the car and just pull up now because you're moving a little further away. But all in all, like I support what you got going on. So if it's for you, do it. But yet and still, like I said, conversation never stopped. Communication never stopped whatsoever. And he was even talking about, I'm gonna fly you out here and all this type of stuff. So, I mean, I'm excited about that or whatever, but go ahead and get your thing, do your thing, get settled in or whatever. And we'll think about that when it gets to it. But periodically, we will still see each other. So things are going good. We still doing what we do. We still see each other when we see each other, still talking and all that, like I said. So let me fast forward. I think I want to say about 5 more months because all in all, this whole situation was going on for about a year. A year. And by this time, I'm like, okay, you the only one that I'm only wanting, if you know what I mean. You the only one that is all up and through here. So I need to get down to the nitty gritty. Like, what's going on? What we doing? Again, it's been a year. And off the record, ladies, we got to stop settling for these little situationships. It's cute and everything. And then we be wondering, what are we? Baby, if you got a question, what are we? You ain't nothing. So I had to take that on the chin and realize that. But I can talk about this now because I done grew from it. So keep this in the back of your mental Rolodex. We had a deep conversation and he doesn't have... Listen, I'm a single mom of 4. I keep getting the dudes that like me that don't have no kids. Me, I don't care if you got kids. I don't care if you don't got kids. If you're a good person to me, I'm going to be a good person to you, and that's just that. So again, he did not have children. I do, and he knew that. We had a deep conversation, and this should have been my flag to just be done. But I mean, I can't fault nobody for their preference or whatever, but I asked him the question. I understand that you don't have children, so let me know this. Are you okay dating a woman with children, or does it not matter? Because, I mean, we talked about his past relationships and he's dated people with kids before. So I just wanted to be clear. So he paused and then he proceeded to tell me, well, I kind of do want someone that doesn't have children. But if I end up with someone that does have children, that's okay. I didn't like that answer because I'm like, that sounds like you settling, and we don't want you to do that. So if you want somebody with no kids, go get that. I'm like, he reassured me that it was fine, and like it wouldn't even, and I like you and stuff like that. We told each other like, I like you. He told me the same thing, like, I like you. So I'm like, okay, I like you, you like me. So what we doing? Like, but again, I wasn't trying to, push the issue or nothing. But I kind of should have left well enough alone then. And again, listen, I'm always going to be accountable for when I should have left well enough alone. And honestly, I should have. But let's keep on. Conversations are getting even deeper, and he's sending me messages, letting me know like you're an amazing person and I'm so grateful for you, and I can't talk to nobody the way I talk to you, and our conversations are always so amazing. And I'm putting him on, trying to show him how I get my coin and how to do the social media thing. I'm editing videos for him, showing him how to do different stuff, because I mean, like, you dealing with me and I'm doing what I'm doing and it's making a great living for me. I want to see you do the same thing. I mean, especially in your area of expertise, this will be an amazing, boost for you. So let me help you any way I possibly can. And that's what I was doing for free. For free. And I really started sitting down, and when the good Lord works on you and you pray for that thing called discernment, and you start praying that prayer like, Lord, anything for me, draw it closer. Anything that's not, just get it up out of here. You really start sitting with yourself and you really start seeing things, and you start, that's what I started doing. So in my heart of hearts, I'm like, it's been a year and we're still doing the same thing we've been doing. So I'm like, am I a sneaky link and I just don't realize that? I think so. But when we was out and about, honey, I was getting touched on, felt on, rubbed on, hugged on, all kissed on and all that. So it didn't feel like that when I was with him. But, so let's get to the good part. So we ended up seeing each other again, and I ended up traveling for work where he resides. So he ended up stopping by my room. So I had to work. So he pulled up or whatever. And it was real sweet. He wanted to go get something to eat, but I didn't have time. I had to get ready for the event that I was doing. So we stopped by, a little kissy here, kissy there. Then he went on about his business, and then I went to work. I think this was on a Saturday that we had hung out or whatever when I went to his city for work. So I went back home, and that Sunday he FaceTimed me that Sunday night. So we had a dope little conversation on FaceTime. So I think our FaceTime was probably like 30 minutes long, and we had some dope conversation, and I felt like he was like filling me out. I don't know what it was, but I just felt weird about it. And then here comes the 2 days later. All right, part 7. So we had this amazing conversation on a Sunday night on FaceTime. 2 days later on a Tuesday, I didn't get a FaceTime. I didn't get a call. I got a text. Guess what the text said? I read it so many times, I remember what it says verbatim, honey. I will never take for granted the amazing woman and person you are. You have been a great friend or whatever, but I just want to give you a heads up. I'm dating somebody. Bitch, I'm reading it over and over in my head. I'm like, you dating somebody? What? So at this time, baby, I'm doing my little breathing exercises. I'm Wheww sign. I'm all that. Because, baby, I'm fuming. I'm like, you was just on FaceTime with me 2 nights ago. You could have told me this. We've been dealing with each other for this long, and you don't think that you could have called me, FaceTime me, or something? You send me this shit in a text? Are you serious? Now, remember I said in the previous video that my discernment started working overtime. So I say my discernment started working overtime because I started to notice, okay, we ain't talking as much. We still talking, but you know how these dudes women do it too, but these dudes like to, reach out to you here and there just to make sure they still got you or whatever, to keep you on a little string, but they out here entertaining everything else. And I feel like that's what the case was with him. So right after this stupid ass text message, I'm breathing in with the good. out with the bad. I'm like, okay, because if I say something right now, if I respond to this right now, baby, I'm going to pop off and he will not like me. So I took a breather. I took it all in. I calmed down. And then I finally responded. And my response was, I appreciate that. And like, I wish you all the best. Like, I wish you all the best. And that's really all I could say. But I was hurt. I ain't even gonna lie, I was. And even though that situation hurt me, we still ain't to the best part of this story. So I moved on, moved forward to the best of my abilities. I happened to see him again. And this time when I saw him, he happened to be around some people that knew him personally, that he was friends with, cool with. And we kind of had like the same friend group or whatever. So we were all in the midst together. And I noticed the next time I saw him, he was just doing the most to be seen. Like, I was trying my best to like move on, move forward. Like, I see you and don't see you. I'm that type of woman. If whatever it happened between us, we ain't cool, we not like that no more. Like, I'm gonna be cordial and I'm gonna speak. I ain't gonna be a but I don't want you like that. I just noticed he was just doing the most, like, to be seen, for me to hug him or whatever. And like, even though that happened or whatever, I would be like, okay, you dating somebody. I don't got no business being up in your face. It was what it was and now it is what it is. So that's just my motto. I'm like, baby, look, I'm too grown. I'm not about to sit here and act stupid and all this and make you feel like I'm pressed, because I'm not, baby. But I see you and don't see you. I can still coexist. I can still be, you know, civilized and cordial or whatever. I'm going to speak when spoken to, but other than that, I don't fuck with you on that level. Like, if he would come over for a hug or whatever, like, in my mind, like, nigga, don't touch me. But I'm going to be cool. I'm going to be cordial. So, you know, I would give the little church hug, you know, the little church pat. And he would be like, you got to hug me better than that. And I'm like, nigga, in my mind, I didn't say it out loud. Like, nigga, if you dating somebody, why I got to be all up on you and stuff? Like, nah. So I happened to walk into a room where he was sitting and he was on FaceTime with his person. And I happened to glance at the phone. I ain't say nothing or whatever, because, like, what is there for me to say? So he was sitting, like, on a couch, and I sat in a chair, like, in the vicinity. Like, the couch is here, and the chair is here in the corner. So I sat in the chair in the corner, and I just turned around, you know, minding my business. You having your conversation. I don't got nothing to do with that. But I'm cool. I'm sitting to myself. So they wrap up their conversation, and then his other friends had happened to come over near where we were sitting. And I happened to hear one of the friends congratulating him, and they're like, yo, you about to get married? Listen, when I heard that, my antennas went up like, bitch, what the fuck? Like, you know how a person wants to answer something, but there's the little tremble in their voice where they really don't want to answer it. And he's like, yeah, like one of those. So I'm just sitting here like this. By this time, anybody that know me, when that leg starts shaking, I'm livid. So I'm still cool. I'm just sitting here listening. I'm taking it all in. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just listening. I'm just listening. So I went on about my business after that with tears in my eyes, but I sucked it up. I went to do what I had to do that evening. And then after I was done, I was hungry. So where I was staying at, where we all were, there was a restaurant in the vicinity. So we went to the restaurant that was downstairs. So I ordered my food. I'm with a friend of mine. I ordered my food. So we're about to go ahead and get the little slip, because, you know, you order your food and then the little slip come out and you got to wait for them to call your number on the slip. So I got my little slip, and then me and my friend went and found a seat. And then